my Kemper sounds with this cab better than yours. What's up, guys? Just jumping back on here to continue my hangout with the Two Notes Torpedo CAB with my unpowered Kemper. I also have a Helix, as you know, and I've yet to plug this Two Notes CAB into the Helix, as I've been just completely head over heels and floored with the results I'm getting out of my Kemper profiling situation here. Because as you all know, you Kemper users out there in particular, the Kemper is a superior product when it comes to the actual amp sim aspect of, you know, guitar stuff. You know what I mean? It just doesn't get any better than Kemper. And you know, people, honest people who have both the Kemper and the Helix, you know, people like me and others, you know, they'll tell you straight up, the Helix is the best for its user interface and graphical and the ability to move things around really quickly. And the Kemper is the best for like the actual amp sound, right? And so you take those two things, the best and the best of both worlds, and you throw the Two Notes Torpedo CAB in there, and that is the missing key, the missing piece of the entire puzzle here. Having the Two Notes Torpedo CAB opens up your tonal landscape, palette, whatever you want to call it, to a whole new world and dimension of usability. And I started to really start to think about it when I was watching a lot of Robert Baker's stuff, because he also uses like real amps and an actual Two Notes Torpedo Live, and then like I think he also uses like a Axe FX possibly through the Live as well. But hearing that rev generator real amp of his through the Two Notes Torpedo Live using a rev generator cab was really what made me decide to go ahead and just buy this $475 piece of equipment, plug it into the Helix, and give it a shot. And by doing that, I feel like I've reached a whole new level of metal gain, lead tone, you know, and then of course the other side of that, which the Kemper is legendary for, is the clean, classy, glassy, slightly broken up tones. Having the cab on the tail end of that really makes that thing breathe. Okay, so using the Brian Carl AC30, which is available actually as a free download when you go to the Brian Carl website, give them your email address, you get this patch for free, I think, in the email. So we're using the profiled actual cabinet that comes with it. Here's what it sounds like. I really haven't done anything to the tone, you know, just a little bit of sculpting of the EQ, right? But if we put everything back at like noon as it's, you know, meant to be, here we go. That's a good tone, but it's not the best. Okay, so looking right here on my Toast Me interface, you can see the only thing we got running is a delay, and I have my EQ in there for whenever I want to kick in some lead. It just gives me a little bit of a boost. Let's hear how that sounds off and on using the onboard cab. So you can tell it just kind of raises things up and kind of gives me a sculpt where I need to punch through the mix, right? That's essentially what that EQ graphic user interface is for that I have set up there, and this is what it looks like. You can tell right here, just a little bit of a push and nudge in the mid section. So whenever you switch over to the Torpedo CAB, and we'll do that right now, whole different world. You hear that? It's like everything just became alive. Let me turn off that delay because it's a little hairy. Just something about it, man. It's better than an IR, and it's because of the mic ability, right? The mic movability in the Two Notes remote app here, where you can move the mic around and put as much wet as you want. So here's a little bit more wet. You may not want that much wet, but when it's in there, it kind of gives the amp a little bit of life, in my opinion. I actually have a preset for my Vox that I use, my Vox presets in the Kemper. So this is kind of really bright and chimey, and it's designed this way. I kind of set it up this way so that it cuts through the mix. Yeah, that sounds exactly like a Vox to me. Like my AC32 C32 sounds just like it. But just to keep everything consistent, we're just going to hang out with this simulated Rev 212 with a FSM57, a little bit of wet. A lot of that goodness is coming out of the simulation of the power amp, right? So by turning off the cabinet, section of the Kemper, and by adding this whole cab, mic, EQ, room, and power cab emulation, manipulation, simulation situation, I feel like the tone is it's just there, man. It's just... And then like it adds an overall more polished effect to your final effects. So let's throw on some modulated reverb here, from the Kemper, and a little bit of delay from the Kemper. Really awesome. It's just a whole different world. And so that's kind of like clean, glassy, gritty world right there. And I just think that the onboard cabs in almost all of my presets that I've downloaded and I've bought and I've used just do not come even 5% as good as what the Torpedo cab can do. But for the unpowered Kemper like mine, the cab works great. This is perfect because I'm not pushing any signal. Like no 100 watts or anything like that. This is just a line out, right? Let's go back to the cab, actual cab that came with the patch. You can see the cab settings right there on ToastMe. This box right here. There's I haven't done anything to it. It's just crappy, it just doesn't do a good job. This is probably why people who are anti-Kemper are anti-Kemper, because of the lack of really good cab simulation, you know what I'm saying? So and I agree with those people who are anti-Kemper or anti-Helix or anti-modeling or profiling in general, because when your tone sounds like that, the hell am I supposed to do with that? That sounds like there's a blanket on my cab. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just not desirable. Yeah, I was just verifying that I am in bypass mode, so it's not like I'm, double cabbing the signal. So now back to the actual Torpedo cab. This cab that I'm using right now, it's the two Notes Rev generator, 2x12 closeback cab with an SM57. That's a purchased cab, but I think this is the best one of the bunch. It's a 2x12, so you get everything you want out of clean, crunch, and then gain world. So let's change gears here, and let's take a look at another different pedal. Different profile. This is from David Wilson. It's the EVH 5153, as I've renamed it, but it's actually like Fender Lead, and this came off the Rig Exchange for free. So this is a free profile off the Rig Exchange, and you just got to search for David Wilson and you'll find it. It's like Fender Lead is what it's called. And so let's give it a shot. So this is what the actual cab of the profile that it came with sounds like. So it's not what I'm trying to do, man. It's not what I'm trying to sound like. And I had run across that profile, and I was like, man, that sounds like poop. And then, you know, weeks later, I got this Torpedo CAB last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's like, whoa, that's the best one out of like my Sin mix, my, you know, everybody's 5150, you know, EVH 5153 6505 profile. This David Wilson profile that's free on the Rig Exchange using the 2 Notes Torpedo CAB is the best sounding 5153 for the EVH sound. Here's the cab that comes with it. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? That sounds like crap. Yeah, it does. But check this out. All right, now we're engaging the 2 Notes Torpedo CAB. A little adventurous on the gain. Definitely a little adventurous on the gain, but it's for me, that's like the perfect lead metal tone, for real. Yeah, it's just got a glorious lead tone, man. It's just, like I said, this free profile off of the Kemper Exchange is the best 5150 tone using the Torpedo CAB and the Rev 2x12 closeback with the SM57 and a little bit of room gain. I mean, room reverb. It's just, I mean, it's just, whoa. So let's hang out with this patch and let's just go back and forth with some different settings using the Kemper. Remember guys, we're using just a Jaguar that has stock pickups, right? This is one of those vintage modified, you know, classic vibe Squire Jaguars, and these are just, you know, the single coil Jag pickups, and it sounds super beefy in this 5153. So we're going to switch back over to the cab that comes with the patch. All right, cab torpedo has been disengaged. Just kind of like Yeah, it's just whoa. And the thing is, man, like I said previously, I wasn't happy with what the Kemper had to offer with respect to like gain tones and lead tones. To me, I thought the Helix and the Axe had a way better, more believable lead and gain groove going on, right? But the problem with the Kemper was the emulated cabinet situation. There's just something about it. When you turn that thing off, it just lets the amp breathe, and then you put a cab, torpedo cab on there, or the torpedo live, and it's just like, whoa, my Kemper is alive, and it's like better than yours. My Kemper sounds with this cab better than yours, better than Helix. So in reality, for $475, this is the fix to the Kemper to make it just like, oh my God, sound amazing. So we'll do one more patch and we'll call it a day. Let's do a Tone Junkie patch. So I'm thinking this is kind of like a swells patch. Let's give it a shot. Really full and rich, and it's just like completely filling up the entire music scape with all those frequencies. Let's use the onboard cab that came from the Tone Junkie patch itself. Yeah, I mean, that sounds really nice, okay? I mean, I'm not trying to hate on Tone Junkie or anything like that. He does a really good job. He's got some of the best profiles out there for the money, too, right? $12, $15, $20 profiles. Amazing, you know? Here's with my cap. Yeah, I mean, this is just a single coil guitar. So yeah, man, using the Notes Torpedo CAB is really a game changer when it comes to the final end product of what the Kemper and even the Helix, or the Kemper and the Helix, have to offer. I strongly believe that the whole cab, room, mic, and power amp simulation aspects of the Notes Torpedo CAB, or live, or even studio for that matter, really just take the tone to a whole new world. I mean, it's just unreal to me. And I hope this comes across YouTube through the whole bandwidth and the bit rate and the compression, because here in my headphones, and whenever I play it through my studio monitors, when I play it through my FR, and when I play it through front of house at synagogue, like literally that weekend that I picked up the Notes Torpedo CAB at synagogue, it's like the front of house guy was like, "What happened? What did you do to that? Did you get new profiles?" I was like, "Nope, same profiles. I just got a whole different cab emulation situation going on." I showed him the equipment, and he's like, "Oh wow, yeah." So this is it, man. Next week, I'm going to start tinkering around with the Helix and the cab, and we'll see what happens there. I hope it doesn't suck. My overall opinion of Helix is kind of low because it's like a modeler, and someone has to create models for you in order for you, meaning the manufacturer of that equipment, for you to experience those amps. Whereas here in Kemperland, someone makes an amp, like Sir or Dumble or something like, or Matchless, or whoever, Marshall makes a new amp. Someone gets that amp, hooks the Kemper up to it, profiles it, and boom, it's on the internet. And now I have a new amp that I can play with, and it's amps as far as the eye can see. So that's been this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks a lot for watching. Please comment what you think about this below. Did you think it sounded better? And if you're kind enough, subscribe and like. All right, man. Catch you guys next week. Maybe we'll do the Helix by then. We'll see. Rock on.